Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus, guys, giving you some more gameplay. Playing Madden 24. Just need a little sabbatical for some time off before the new game drops. You know, there's a lot of people that are playing the college version of EA right now. We got a lot of pro players that are playing online. So really, the quality of the people that you're playing against, if you're still playing Madden 24, is just not where it is, because most of the good players are playing college right now. So that's where so this is a good time if you're playing Madden, just to try things that are outside of what you normally do. I'm going to talk about a defensive setup that I use against quads, empty quads formation. So you have four wide receivers on one side of the field. And it's a lot easier than you actually expect, because most people are looking for certain routes and progressions. And when you play empty, there's always a threat of a blitz. So most players that use empty sets usually try to make the progressions fast. They're not going to be sitting in the pocket. They're going to try to make things quick. And the cool thing about going against empty quads is that you have a focus of the offense on one side of the field. So that's where you want to actually go ahead and layer your coverages on that. This is going to be a match tutorial. So let's go ahead and jump into this gameplay. I'm playing against a guy that's ranked in the top 900, 847. The one thing about playing against players now late in the season is that the really reason they're one of the better players is because basically they're just play a bunch of games underneath their belt. Doesn't mean that necessarily they're the best players out there. So if you go to MUT and you switch over to regs, obviously a good MUT player can be very effective at regs and take out a lot of top players. One of the adjustments I do is I always go ahead and put match on, and then I go ahead and switch out the option defense with conservative. I want to take away any kind of read option type stuff or running with a quarterback, and I always base a line because I don't want my opponent to actually kind of be able to read my defense at all. So I think I go back. Change of conservative, then I would do conservative tackling. I don't know if there's any of a difference whether you do conservative or just leave it as stock. So just waiting for this to set up. So here we go. So how I run my defense, and I'll probably look at this a little bit later on when the new game drops. But I'm a big person that likes to use the cover 9 show 2, and actually this is going to be a defense I'm going to be highlighting on this. Another defense is going to be cover 3 hard flats. This helps take away those mesh concepts. And then I use palms too for kind of any kind of trip sets to take away reads on that. So just double checking my stuff. I actually had a bad series. When you play against Kansas City, sometimes you get those the ability where you can't hot route correctly. So I end up giving this guy an option to basically get the ball in the first series. So it was actually bad offense by me, but I'm able to go ahead and settle down and start and put this guy into a situation. So one of the things I wanted to point out is that he's got a T formation. So you can run either side. Typically what I like to do is to kind of pinch my defensive line down and then shift my guys over, because I want to get extra leverage out here. So I'm going to show you on this run right here that I actually had a defender out there that could have got this guy at the line of scrimmage, but he's able to go wide with Pacheco. And you can see that it contains there. That could have been a situation where he only picked up maybe a yard or so, because if I would have spread the guys out. But you can see with the stretch play, basically he's got the threat to run either side, and you want to make sure that you take away the threat. And if there's no defender, there's no wide receiver on the outside, then in that type of situation, you've got a hard to flat defender to go in. So I don't think this is like one of the few times that actually runs this play. He doesn't spam back to it at all. But he probably should have stuck with it just because he picked up a nice chunk of yards. Most players are trying to get first downs when they run the ball. Really, if you're getting 5 yards a pop, you just want to grind the ball against them. So right here he goes into full house normal wide. Just not a very common play you see online right now. Full house is a formation you saw in previous Maddens. I'm going to run cover 3 against this guy because basically I've got these guys are threats where they're outs and stuff like that. They can do certain routes, but these guys pretty much the only route combinations you could have with these guys are basically wheel routes or swing routes and stuff like that. And because I'm going to jump into cover 3, I'm going to be able to go and cover those guys up. So my biggest concern is these wide receivers actually coming over the middle of the field and doing crosses. So what I typically do in this type of situation is I'm going to match up these guys right here. And I'm going to play in the middle of the box and look for like one of these routes that they're going to come over the middle of the field. So watch what happens with this. I've got a wide alignment with my defensive line. My responsibility really is to come down and play the running back, the number 3, with my middle guys, because you can see these guys are seamed up. I've got a protection on the sidelines, seamed up protection on the sidelines. So I have to kind of play the middle of the field to look for anything that's crossing over the middle. But also my backup responsibility is going to be the running back. He actually rolls out. And right there, I got some pressure in his face. He gets rid of the ball. So obviously a smart player, because a bad player would never got rid of that ball. They would took a sack or run around a little bit and waited a little bit longer. Now here's the first time he actually jumps in the quads, and I actually go ahead. I think I jumped into palms formation. And basically what I like to do is when I've got a quads formation, I'm going to go ahead and put another defender out here in a flat. And these guys are matching, and I've got a 3-rec hook. And I can user this guy right here. Now the responsibility is if I choose to user this guy right here, I have to protect against a backside slant. So if I don't protect, I'm giving that up, because that is going to be a weakness of this Palms defense. And basically pull the guy over, and then I actually clicked onto this guy. So this might have got into his passing. Let's go and watch this play and see where he develops. Okay, so he does have a slant going right here, and this guy's falling into that. So he probably was checking the slant on the weak side, and then he started making his progressions on the backside. So right here I'm in the middle of the field. He drops it down to the flat on the backside, and have a flat defender out there to go ahead and take away that flat and actually knock the ball out. So he didn't get any kind of yardage on that whatsoever. So quick snap this play. He's got little hitch routes and stuff like that, deep dig. Didn't get any action out of it. 3rd and 3 situation. Now he comes back to, once again, the quads bunch close. Let's see if I make, let's see if I jump into this. I think I might have went with a more aggressive blitz. So this is what I'm doing with this particular play. Cover 9. I flip the play because I want my slot defender that actually is going to go ahead and fall into the passing lane by the bunch thing. And what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to blitz these guys inside. I'm going to user this guy down in the box and hope the pressure gets into this guy's face before he can get rid of the ball. So watch what happens with this. I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to blitz all. And my hope is that he doesn't hit a slant on the backside, because he actually didn't see that it was available. But you can see I'm going to try to send the pressure at this guy. And my responsibility is to try to cover up this middle area. It's going to take some time for some of these routes to get over. With my hope is that this pressure is going to come in, and I've got to protect the middle of the field. So I want to hover over that tackle. You can see right here. So actually, he does the coverage is actually pretty, like, the blocking is picked up, except for this guy sliding in. And when you're dealing with Mahomes, he's going to make passes, all that stuff. You can see right here, actually threw into me over the middle of the field, and I don't come down with it, but you can see the pressure's in there. So now I've actually set him up to show that I can show him these type of looks and actually hit him with some pressure. So I'm able to go and score 7 points. He gets the ball back, gets a nice return right here, and I'm in a bad situation. He's got a blocker, and I'm actually going ahead and I'm running right here with the ball. I can't give up the big run, so I'm just trying to stay in front of the blocker and just stay in front of him so he can't get around me. So, you know, most players will try to go ahead and tackle, but you want to go ahead and see if you can get him in the back end. And I actually had a back end defender that actually caught him, not giving him a touchdown. It would have been an ugly situation to give up a touchdown. Okay, so now let's take a look at this coverage, this formation. So we got a heavy formation. We got a single wide receiver over here. We got a running back, and then we have basically 3 tight ends, which typically are going to do routes like this, or they're going to do some carrying routes and all that stuff. All the time that you see these type of stuff, you might have a play action where it's a boot, and you're going to have guys roll and stick and come over, and this guy's going to clear out. So those are the type of route combinations. It's going to be levels with crossers over the top with the clear out route. So what I'll do is I'll jump into cover 9, which you got a deep half here. You've got your quarters, and then I've got a flat and all that kind of stuff. And if he tries to run the ball, I've got a run fit on this outside. I'm going to use this guy to come down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and use this guy, and I'm going to go vertical with any of these tight ends. They're not getting over the top of me because they're not like 96 speed or outrageous speed. No tight ends are like that. And I'm just going to make sure I protect against this, and I'll carry, and I'll look for this guy coming over the crossing over the middle field, and I'll peel off on the defense. But the goal is to basically anticipate what my opponent's going to do. So you can see I bunched up my line. He does a play action. This guy kind of sticks out here. He's manned up. He's matching. You can see these guys dropping back at the next level, dropping back by the sticks, and you can see this guy kind of just slips out. I've got that matched up. This guy's matched up, and a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to have these guys carry over the middle field, and sure enough, that's essentially what happens. I'm carrying with my defender to go ahead and come down and bite. He has nowhere to go with the ball. Everything's locked up with that, and it's just a simple cover 9 defense. Now, if you take a look at the play was flipped. You can see they have those little flat routes going on. He's got the clear out route, and he had a little stick that probably would have been picked up on, but it was basically, that play was completely locked up because they anticipated the route combination, what you typically see in those type of wing formations. All right, so now he goes back to bunch again. I rotate my guys down, and typically what I like to do is I like to take this guy and put him in a flat. So I just put in the wrong adjustment. I'm running cover 4. I slid this guy out. And my responsibility, once again, is that I should have this area all covered up, and then I'm going to be looking for guys just crossing over the middle of the field, because the strength of the formation is over here. If he wants to throw, if he wants to hit me with any kind of like a flood concept, that's fine. He can go ahead and do that. I'm going to have a bunch of people out there. Really, the sweet part of this particular defense is going to be this corner route right here in between like a high post and a flat route. You know, about the 10, 20 yard depth type situation. But he doesn't challenge me that way. So I slide over, and this is what he did. He set me up with this slant on the back side, and I pulled my defender out there. So I realized, okay, so he's been looking for the slant. He'll look for the slant, and he'll take it if I give it to him. So I need to go ahead and make an adjustment. So now what I do is I go ahead and jump into cover 9. And the reason why is because what happens is now I've got a flat defender out here, but I've got this guy going into his passing zone. I've got a deep defender over the half, and if I slide this guy out into a flat, I've got, you know, basically, you know, 3 defenders out here. I play over the middle of the field. He's going to get delayed, and I'm just looking for anything that's coming over the middle of the field. So you can see right here, he doesn't know where to go with the ball, and everybody's matching. I'm able to go and sack this guy because he just doesn't know what to do with the ball after that. So I messed up his read because he tries to do the slant spacing. That was a play that he did previously where he actually tried to hit down a flat. And because he just quick snapped the play and I had cover 9 defense, it basically covered it up. And my responsibility is just to play the middle of the field and wait for things to come back to me. Because that's how these plays work out of quads. If you're just a quick snapper and you're not actually making adjustments, he should have some type of a sail concept on the quad side where he's working up and down the middle of the field. So right here, back to a previous play you used before. Once again, we're going to go ahead, man this guy up, because I've got a hard flat out here. I've got another hard flat out here. So these guys go to the flats that's taken up. My responsibility is to play over the middle of the field, and I want to be looking for any kind of crossing play over the middle of the field, and my man responsibility is going to be the running back under. So here's a play that I think he probably saw other people use. It's a C route. He's got really good leverage on this. If I would have pressed the guys down, he might have been able to get the passing line, but you can see he tries to throw that in, and my defender does not actually get a knockout animation because he's got a deep knockout. But you can see right there that was actually, it was a good route. It was a good read per se, but the guy was doubled up. So sometimes you're going to get, you know, those knockout animations is going to help you. All right, so back to the gun quads again. So here we're going to go. Our play we're going to use is going to be this cover 9 show 2. So this is going to give us essentially the backside. So I think what I did right here is I flipped it up a little bit, and I'm going to actually go with an aggressive blitz. So I've got this guy pressed. He should he should man up guys. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this pressure's coming in. He's, you know, basically pressure's coming in. I've got myself a defender that's going to kind of float out here. I've got myself a flat defender. I've got protection over the top, and then I have to user the middle of the field. So I have to go ahead and take a fast read, but I want to make sure that he's actually making a quick and fast decision. Do a QB contain. And right here actually throws. You can see he throws that slant right away, and you get a nice little knockout animation about my backside defender. So now he goes with the verticals concept. He should have been looking off to the right with the verticals concept, but I get to force him into settling for 3 points, which is kind of a smart play if you're struggling on offense. Just to take the points on the board. I end up going up by another score. and he comes back to this heavy set. So you can see the heavy set. What's going to happen? You're going to have guys who are going to cross over the middle field. You might have somebody that comes out. This is going to clear. This is what these plays look like, because the goal is to run the ball to the strength of the formation and then do a boot on the backside. So that's what most of these formations look like. These are things that you see. So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. He does a motion out here. And I think what happens is the motion, it's an out. So this is a switch up the play a little bit, but I want to go ahead and make sure I have that. You can see I rotate my defenders down. I'm not really worried about the deep threat. You can see how the defender comes up, and then my responsibility is to come up and play the center of the field, because he's got a deep post that's going to be going over the middle of the field. He goes to Kelsey on the backside and misthrows the ball. That's bad for him. He shouldn't be able to hit that. And that was basically the same play he used previously, but what he did is he motioned the guy over to get across the field a little bit quicker. So that's kind of a change up, but he couldn't get it off. Here's a play that I know that people who started spamming at the end of the game. It's a fake end around. Now you can watch, this guy comes out, he's unblocked, and he's completely unblocked. He just gets a bad angle. I don't really mind that defense at all. I have a defender in the most important thing is having a defender to go ahead and take away things that your opponent's doing. And that end was out there. He's able to pick up some good yards, but it's not like he's doing that naked. He's got someone out there. He got out leveraged, and he's got more speed than my defensive end. So he goes back to this play once again. We're going to motion our guys, rotate down, give him an opportunity to run the ball. He actually does an off tackle run off to the opposite side where the strength of formation was, which is basically an inside zone play. And I'm able to go ahead and get him tackled because I've got run fits off the edge, and I've got guys out there. So that's just an adjustment with the line, making sure that he can't get me the outside. So back to the quads again. Now this is where I jump into cover 9. Been showing that before. I'm going to take this guy, put him in a flat. I got this guy's got matching responsibilities. He's got matching responsibilities. He's got matching responsibilities. So I've got 4 guys over here. I'm going to use this guy over the middle of the field and try to defend against anything that's going to come over the middle of the field. So that's my responsibility, is to look for the cross. He's got the slant on the backside. These guys are falling right back in the zones. If he was to go ahead and streak me up over the top, I'm going to have basically a cover 2 shell over the top. So this guy's isolated. Yeah, it's a lot of resources. You got basically 3 guys over here, but coincidentally, if I got a guy that goes over the middle of the field, I've got backup over the top of the field too. So I feel pretty comfortable with that coverage right there. So right here, I'm just playing the middle of the field. He actually gets picked off by one of my mag defenders, man everywhere he goes. And Rogers is able to go and intercept this guy another time. So it gives me an opportunity to go up by another score. And basically this game is getting iced out against this guy because he's just struggling against me. So once again, this guy's ranked 827 in the nation. This is what premier players are like, but the one thing is, like, all the great players are actually playing games like MUT. So once again, guys, thanks for your support. Wanted to kind of show you basically this gameplay. So if you do like these type of tips, let me know. I'm going to be rolling out more tips for Madden 25. I'm breaking things down like from a standpoint of, like, things that people like to do from a standpoint of, like, what type of strategies and stuff like that, sim strategies you can use that work in the real NFL that can actually work in the game. I'll probably be focusing mostly on match, because once I switched to match in this game, I had a lot more success than any other zone coverages and zone drops and stuff like that, or man coverages. It just seemed like it worked a little bit better for me. So thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.